You're listening to the Good Food CFO podcast, where we focus on financial strategies for building a profitable food business. I'm your host, Sarah Delavan. On this episode, I am sharing my mission and vision for this podcast, some insights into what you can expect when we really kick things off in episode 2, and a bit about myself and my journey to becoming a food business financial consultant and now podcast host. Let's get to it. Hey there, and welcome to this very first episode of the Good Food CFO podcast. Once again, I am your host, Sarah Delavan, and I am so excited that you are here listening to what I am told is the only podcast focused on food business financials. The Good Food CFO podcast is a weekly podcast for good food business owners striving to achieve financial sustainability and maximum profitability. So whether your good food business produces a packaged food or beverage product, is a catering company, a meal delivery business, a wholesale business, or a regional market or cafe, you will find value and inspiration in this podcast. We're going to really kick things off with episode 2. And starting there, here's a little insight into what you can expect. New episodes will be released once a week and will generally fall into one of 3 categories. We're going to have solo episodes, expert guest episodes, and founder stories. In the solo episodes, I'll be sharing foundational information for building a profitable food business. We're going to be covering topics like how to create financial reports that truly serve you and your business, how to price your products for business profitability, not just product profitability, and 3 steps for setting the right sales goals. In conversation with guest experts, we're going to dive into a specific part of your business and look at it through the lens of financial strategy. Our first guest expert is CPA Melissa Houston. She joins us in episode 2, where she shares key information for creating a solid financial foundation for your food business. Then you're going to have a chance to meet Erin Lair, a food industry veteran turned bookkeeper who's going to help you build a successful working relationship with your bookkeeper, something I know so many food business owners struggle with. We're also going to be talking to CPG experts like Ali Ball, Sandra Velasquez, and Christy Lee about sales strategy, distribution, and marketing, and how they all tie into your financial strategy. We're also going to spend some time on money mindset and funding and so much more. When good food business founders join us, they're going to be sharing their stories from startup to where their businesses are today and highlighting key lessons they've learned along the way. We're also going to have some special bonus episodes. They include roundtable episodes with other industry experts, frequently asked questions episodes, and client coaching sessions. New episodes are going to be released every Monday on both your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Bonus episodes will come out on varying days of the week. So the best way for you to stay up to date on all episodes and special bonus content is to subscribe on your favorite platform or join our mailing list. Doing one or both of those will also help me tremendously in ensuring that I'm connecting with like-minded good food business owners and providing the most value possible. I want to assure you that you do not have to be a financial whiz and you do not have to spend a lot of time focused on your financials in order to build a profitable food business. My goal with every episode of this podcast is to break down key concepts and strategies and make them approachable for you, no matter if you are launching your first food business or if you've been running your business for years, and regardless of whether you consider yourself to be a numbers person or not. My hope for this podcast is that it's going to change the beliefs that so many founders have. Things like we should be keeping our financials to ourselves, or the belief that we're supposed to have it all figured out on our own, or that we should feel bad or ashamed if our business isn't profitable. The food industry comes with a very big learning curve, and you're not going to be an expert at everything. So through this podcast, I want to foster conversation, and I want to build a community of both founders and industry professionals that will change the way we think and talk about money. I hope you'll become an active member of this community in real life and continue the conversations after every episode. You can do so by joining the Profitable Food Business Community at profitablefoodbusinesscommunity.mn.co. We're also providing a direct link to this Mighty Networks community within the show notes. So, how did I become a food business financial consultant, and what makes me qualified to host this podcast? Well, my journey into the food industry started in 2009, but I'm going to fast forward us a bit and focus on a big turning point and critical time in my career. From 2012 to 2014, I was the co-owner of a Good Food business. Initially, it was our intention to open a retail store. We were going to offer local, sustainable, seasonal produce, as well as meat, dairy, and artisan goods. But when we couldn't come to complete agreement with our potential landlords on the lease, we decided to walk away from that retail opportunity and decided to launch our business as a pop-up. We had profitable products, we had a loyal customer base, and we were achieving a big goal that we set out to, which was building community around food and connecting our customers to the people who grew it and produced it. The problem was that we weren't financially successful. You may know that the pop-up model is both labor and cost intensive, and we did think for a bit that maybe we could transition to a delivery-only business. We were doing some delivery as part of our pop-up model, but that wasn't what we set out to do, and the best part of our business was interacting with our customers. So after much deliberation, we made the tough decision to close the business. And I'll say that as hard as it was to say goodbye to something that we worked so hard on for 2 years and that was a dream realized, the thing that stuck with me the most and that continues to guide the work that I do today is the response we got from our customers. They were very honest with us that they were sad to be losing us and to be losing their connection to the food that we made available to them. It was definitely possible to get the products that we provided, from other places. But back then, they would have had to driven around Southern California and even into Northern California to collect all of the wonderful items that we made available every week. So my big takeaway from this experience was that good food businesses, when they close, the community loses its connection to good food, and that matters. It matters on the individual level, and it matters on a bigger level as well. And after our business closed, I became very keenly aware of the other good food businesses that were closing. And it wasn't for lack of customers or lack of a quality product or even a lack of hard work, but because the financials just didn't work out. And I remember thinking and being frustrated about how were we going to achieve our mission of changing our food system if good food businesses can't succeed financially. Back when we started our food business, we did it in part because we wanted increased access to better food. We wanted better traceability for the products that we consumed. And we wanted to play a role in healing our planet and changing the food system so that all workers would be paid a fair wage and have a safe working environment. I still want those things. And in order to get them, we have got to change our food industry. And that means building financially successful good food businesses. I focus now on the financial piece because as a former good food business owner and as a buyer, I saw firsthand that our industry infrastructure is not designed to support small farms. It's not designed to support small to mid-sized producers. And it's not designed to support buying seasonally or locally, which is sort of mind-blowing. Much of our industry is operating as it has been for the last 50 plus years. And based on conversations that I have had, it seems like there's very little incentive to change. And as a result of that, traditional industry standards don't apply to good food businesses. And in order to succeed, we have to do things differently. It requires a unique approach to doing business. And I think that approach needs to be holistic in nature. It needs to be focused on consistency inside the business, and it has to be focused on making a positive impact on the bottom line. And I know that profit can be seen as a bad word, or a word that makes some mission-driven business owners feel bad. I was one of those business owners back in 2012, but I have learned since then that the reality is, without consistent profit and positive cash flow, good food businesses can't successfully operate, and they can't achieve the long-term missions and goals that they set out to. So after our business closed, I went on to work for other good food businesses that were focused on sourcing locally, sourcing seasonally, and educating their customers. And I started out sourcing ingredients as the buyer, right? And by nature of who I am and what I like to do, I started to implement systems to make me better at my job, and then to make the day-to-day run smoother for me in the kitchen, who I supported. And eventually I started getting involved in the financials. So first, it was with recipe costing and just identifying what are the true costs to create our products, and are we selling anything that's, not as profitable as it needs to be, or in some cases that's losing money. And then I went on to start pricing new menu items and new products, and then began looking at financials as a whole and working with the hired financial firms of the business I was working for. Outside of the office, I was known as a buyer. And I did pride myself on knowing where to get the best seasonal products. But where I felt the most passionate and impactful was really behind the scenes, with my nose in the spreadsheet, working through the numbers and helping to ensure that the business could pay their employees, pay their vendors, and pay the owners. And on top of that they could continue to serve their communities and fight the good fight for months or years to come. So it wasn't until 2017, after about 3 years of working for other businesses, that I became a consultant. And that happened when a job offer that I had received suddenly fell through because the startup had lost its funding. And serendipitously, on the same day that I got that news, that I was suddenly unemployed, I also got an email from a former coworker who wanted to know if I was available to consult on a project that was newly underway. It was an NYC-based chef who was opening a new business here in Los Angeles. I said yes. And at first, with that client and then with a few others, I was focused on food sourcing and just the financials around that. And then over time, as I worked with more businesses, I started to do a little bit more and a little bit more until I was really offering a more holistic approach to improving the overall profitability of their businesses. So that was my path from good food business owner to becoming a food business financial consultant. And today I am proud to say that I've helped my clients increase their annual profit margins by an average of 25%. And that has resulted in hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional profit for them, enabling them to hire much needed staff, get clear on their business objectives, and implement tools and strategies that continue adding to their bottom line. I am so grateful for the opportunity to work with amazing food business owners and to now have this platform to share valuable insights, information, and strategies with so many more of you. I want to thank you for sticking around to learn about my story and why I am so passionate about this work that I do. And I also want to thank you for the work that you do in changing our food system for the better. If you've enjoyed this episode or any of the episodes that follow, I hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe either on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform so that other business owners may find this show. And I also hope that you'll share where you're listening or what you're learning by using the hashtag #TheGoodFoodCFO podcast or by tagging me on Instagram at sarah.delavan.consulting. Again, if you want to continue the conversation, please join us in our growing community of food business owners on Mighty Networks. All of the links and more are in the show notes for you. Episode 2 is queued up and ready for you to listen to. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again very soon.